Do I want to wear a hat? Having such a good hair day, for God's sakes.
I'm jacked up here. Like, I'm jacked.
Do I want to wear a hat? I'm having such a good hair day.
It is a good hair day.
Hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off.
Like, it's really even.
I can't just figure it out on its goddamn own. Hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off.
I'm jacked. And my face is close.
Hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off.
I think your hair's looking good today. I don't even think you need it.
Yeah! I know, but it's a branding opportunity.
Branding opportunity. I don't like the hat. I
can't
think
pass up. Yeah,
but it's a branding
pass up
opportunity to promote the website.
That's right.
I just had an experience yesterday where somebody who saw the the Instagram didn't know I worked for the company I work for, but because I was wearing the hat in the Instagram video, they put two and two together. And let me tell you, it really opens doors when you work for the company that I work for.
Sure.
Because everybody knows 10 real estate agents. Everybody's got a friend in real estate. They got an uncle, and everybody says they're number one. Everyone says they're the top producing agents, right?
Sure.
But if they know that you work for the team that is in the most places, that's got the most listings, that sells the most houses, they kind of right away give you a little bit of a nudge in the what's the word, credibility department.
The right company can lend credibility and can destroy credibility. In an instant, TK.
Absolutely. So
choose
wisely.
Choose wisely. All right.
Wisely.
Well, now that we've lost the entire audience, good morning. How are you? What's going on? Anything new happening out there?
You know what? I mean, I heard.
I don't know if we want to talk about it yet,
I don't know. We can wait for the guest. There was some big announcement that came up this week to do with.
I don't think anything.
Interest rates or something like that. I'm not really sure what it was. There was something, some noise going on.
A little bit of noise.
Overall, I mean, buyers right now, I got buyers who are calling me for the first time, and I'm actually going out with them this week, and they're good buyers,
Buyers.
Yeah. I got another buyer that came to me through a referral that, we're starting to talk about things again too. So I feel like there are still buyers out there who are coming into the market and that will buy, throughout the next few months, and that they're going to be excited. On my listings, like I got one listing, I just relisted it. It was a property that was priced high. I've talked about it on the show, so we relisted it. We dropped the price down about 40,000. I believe it's closer now to where it should be, so I'm pretty happy for the seller about that, because I think we can get it sold now. And the phone's ringing. People are coming to see it. I got one listing that's like a luxury listing, and I'm getting a showing or more a day.
Really?
Getting second showings. I got a bunch of people interested. It's like, $3.5 million. So I even have a luxury listing that's getting like a showing a day, like a lot of second showings, a lot of people interested. So like there is a ton of activity out there that people are doing. Land, very quiet. Very quiet.
But this is like a renewed interest all of a sudden, like since yesterday morning,
especially in the one place there that I lowered the price on. All of a sudden, that's a big interest. And just overall, just talking to a few different people who are now looking to buy. I'm on a lot of appointments this week. This week's really busy because people are thinking about putting the house on the market. I think just as many people who will enter the market because of the announcement this week, the same amount of people are going to say, oh, now it's the right time to sell, and that they want to get listed, because we're getting a lot of those calls now too, for people who are trying to be able to get into the market, or are trying to put their houses onto the market. Hey guys, if you want to book a call with me, check out my calendar link in the description, and looking forward to talking to you. Hey guys, looking to chat about real estate? check me. Hey guys, looking to book a call with me and talk about some real estate? Maybe you want a free t-shirt? Check out the Calendly link below and book a 15-minute call with me. Looking forward to talk to you.
Whoa, TK, now would be a great time to ask people to sub too while we're asking them for stuff. How
People
about
still do that?
not that much anymore, but we're getting there. We're almost at 8,000 subs, TK. So
Holy
jump
smokes.
on the sub train for the Canadian
Like,
Real Estate Show.
Comment, subscribe. We answer to every one of your comments, and we appreciate you guys. And check out the rest of this episode. We got a lot of good things to talk about.
A lot of good things to talk about. And we are looking for money. I keep saying it. We're looking for more and more money here at DealCore Properties, TK. We have some deals under contract right now that need a lot of money. So give me a call like the other people that have. And let's make some money together.
Absolutely. Got my money.
Got my money. So does this mean that the buyers and the sellers are both thinking that now is a good time to buy and sell?
It's the perfect storm, Darryl.
Holy cow!
Storm, okay, at the peak. We're going to the back to the peak. We go. How much
Oh,
percent are we below peak
happy
again?
days are
We're
here
below.
again,
We're still
TK.
double digit below peak, but we're going
everywhere.
We're it's like the little guy in.
We're going back already. Like,
you know, the little yodel
been 24 hours. Yeah, up the mountain. Price is right.
Price is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's the guy.
That's what it is.
And every
We're
once in a while, he
climbing
just
up the
falls
hill
off the
again.
cliff, but then he gets back on and he starts
back
climbing
on.
again. Anyways, I'm pumping the market right now, guys. The market's going
I
down.
knew you would be pumping the market right now.
We got, you know, a lot of people have a lot of problems. You know, sales 2.5% lower than they were. Sale prices lower, 2.5% lower than they were a year ago. 22% down year over year. Number of sales. It's a horrible, mate. It's a horrible time. Things are going down. It's bad. It's bad out there. It's bad out there. There you go.
Did you
Hopefully
say something?
Satisfied.
Did you just say something in there? Okay. TK,
hopefully that's
enough
satisfied.
with this.
The
enough with this
algorithm.
Nonsense. Hopefully that satisfies the algorithm.
You can't, if you talk positive, then no one watches your YouTube videos.
No, we can't talk positive. No. And here's a great reason why you shouldn't be positive around here right now, TK.
Tell me.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of anger towards immigrants and them taking all of the jobs right now. Have you noticed that? And there seems to be some pretty crazy incentive programs out there from the government to incentivize these companies to hire people from other countries. I feel like all the anger is kind of being directed towards the immigrants and the government, but there's all these people that are hiring the immigrants in order to be more profitable, right? And have lower wages. Shouldn't we be mad at them too? Shouldn't they be responsible to not hire the immigrants and to save the local economy?
I feel like there was like a episode, I think it was King of the Hill, but I could be wrong. But it just reminds me of like,
hey, Bobby.
It just reminds me of like those like Texas, like American people when they look at immigrants and like these darn immigrants, they, you know, and I don't feel like Canada's like that. I think Canada's built on immigration. We're all immigrants.
Shovel out of the shed,
you know, first, second, third generation. Like there's no like.
We're going to get us some immigrants.
This isn't a new theme. When the economy changes, people look at, you know, who should be getting jobs and who shouldn't. At the end of the day, we need immigration. Immigrants are beautiful people from all different countries. And I don't think we have enough. I don't think we have enough. I think we don't have enough people.
We need more people.
More people in this country. I wish they all didn't want to live in the GTA, but I get it. As a realtor who benefits from the bustling housing market in the GTA, I can't really say that I'm not that happy about it because it does, you know, keep food on the table for me. But at the end of the day, when I look at it overall, we need more immigrants. We need more people. And it's going to help our immigrants. And those businesses, think about it. Those businesses who are hiring people, we want them to be open. And those other opportunities that are going to come up from those businesses buying products and services from other companies is going to keep the economy going. So go and hire those.
Go hire them. Take the incentives.
Do what you need to do. And if you're complaining right now, look inside yourself. Why don't you have a job? What is it? Knowing that you've, because if you're saying they're immigrants and you're not, so you're born here. Again,
were you really born here?
This is really unpopular right now. I don't know why I'm going to say it, but I'm going to say it. How did you screw that up? All right. If it's such a sweet deal, you living here and you can't get a job and that somebody who just got here took your job, how did you screw that up? Because what were you doing the last 30 or 40 or 50 years? No one likes to hear that.
Expecting.
Nobody wants to hear that. But why are you you know, competing with a job from a guy who just got here? And why haven't you been able to
Yeah,
create more opportunities for yourself? All right.
better
I'm hated.
opportunities.
I'm
That's
hated
what you're
online.
saying. But hold on a
Hold
sec,
on, hold on.
TK.
Clips guy, please do not edit that into a clip and put
Make
that all over
sure that
Instagram.
is
Please
at least
don't
8
put
of the
that part out
clips
there.
with different
Okay.
titles. That one has to hit. Okay, TK. So basically, what you're saying is it's okay for the local businesses to profit at the moment and do what they have to do to make a profit, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's kind of
That's
how it
what
works.
business is basically
That's
all
what
about.
businesses
Okay.
basically do. Okay, so that brings me to our next discussion point, TK,
Okay.
because my friend at Better Dwelling wrote an
Love
article
that guy.
titled "Love That Guy."
You should run
Um,
for mayor.
you should run for mayor and get 2 votes. Okay, the article was titled "Canada Begins Real Estate Developer Bailout with 55-Year Loans," and I'm like,
How do I get one of
really?
these loans?
Well, first of all, how do I get one of these? But is it really bailing out the developers? Do we always have to vilify the developers? Like, what the fuck? How is this a bailout for the developers, really? Like, who's getting bailed out here? Is this for refinancing a piece of land? Now you get to amortize it over 55 years? Like, who's borrowing like that? Most people on land, they're not borrowing from the bank, except the giant guys,
Yeah.
right? They're because they're buying things at ridiculous prices that are overvalued, and it takes the right kind of lender to work with. So, like,
I know
get
the
these
answer. I
so
got the answer.
annoyed.
I
Yeah,
got the answer. Because
why?
there's companies like Stateview Homes or other similar type of companies
Yeah,
who have this huge Ponzi scheme of buying properties and taking people's deposits and then screwing everyone over and then, you know, turning a profit here and there, but then really they just like check kite their way out of their business plan into fraud and then they walk away with tens of millions of dollars. And so there's problems like that that exist. And so I I don't believe that most developers are in that position, especially the big guys. When they've been around for that long and they are like as big as the institutions that are lending them the money, these type of people are definitely the ones who we need to cut as many breaks for as possible. It's Darryl, you're a great guy and you know, I would co-sign your loan, but it's just no one really cares because they're a lot of money and I'm not worth that much. But those big guys they have our trust and that they should be incentivized and that we should use as many resources as we can to help them, but we just don't know which of the small developers like yourself are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones. So those guys really don't they shouldn't get the same amount of help that some of the
well,
bigger guys do from the bank. So that 55
and a
year
lot.
amortization is banks, and their banks are only dealing with the big guys who are serious and they're not con artists.
No, but how is this bailing them out? Like,
Well, that's just the article. Look who wrote it.
no, and then the article talks about the people buying it getting these crazy amortizations, if I remember correctly. Anyways, the point
So they're
is
willing to
like
build houses.
people are allowed to make profits, right? We just
Yeah.
kind of we got through that with the other employers. They're all allowed to make profits. The only reason, okay, look, all of retailers go out of business all the time, right? Like Red Lobster just closed, all their stores overnight, screwed all their employees. Like companies do stupid shit, but I feel like, and not just because I'm a developer. I mean, nobody gives a shit what I'm doing. It's not directed at me. But why vilify these guys where you're saying the exact opposite to villain, right? Like we need these guys. Like, don't people like roofs? Don't people
Mm-hmm.
like heating in the winter, like windows, don't people like this stuff around them when
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
sleeping and making their food? So why can't we make
Support
profits?
them. Yeah. Why can't we
Why
support
why
why
is it
aren't
a
we
big
cheering
deal?
for the developers right now to make money?
Bastards. Everybody
Right?
is just
It's why the
ridiculous.
whole greenbelt debacle happened, right?
Right.
Is because so many people were, you know, with their panties
Oh,
in a bunch about the greenbelt, even though there was a ton of evidence to show that we needed more detached houses and that this was the best way to do it, and that most of the land that was going to be built on wasn't really needing to be protected, especially since every ground that has a house on it today at one point or not was a farm, right? So it's not like
that's
we
at
don't know
one
how
point,
to
sure.
get rid of farms. Uh oh. Where's number 1, 2, and 3? We got number 4 today.
Here we go. Mr. Ivan. I hope I say this right. How do you say your last name?
You can call me Ivan or Ivan, doesn't matter.
There we go. So
Ivan's good enough.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad we got you on the show. I've been
What a background.
looking at great background, great charts.
It has a
TK.
moving cat in the background. Like it looks so real.
It's AI. This is
AI.
how this is. He's big into AI. His
It's not a cat, it's a dog. It's a
oh, it's
pet.
is that a
dog.
Doge? Is that a Doge dog?
Looks like the Dogecoin.
Is that a Dogecoin? Cool. Well, good to meet you. This guy's Mr. Charts. If you're on Twitter or X or I don't know where else you post your charts, but this guy's got the best charts. He's always got kind of mid-month information, which is great. I've been following you for years. I love the information.
Ivan, welcome to the show.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're happy to have you. You know, we want to know your information. Was there any big announcements this week? I mean, was anything going on this week that you think people should know about?
We were wondering.
Rate cuts, right?
Rate cuts.
Oh,
Okay, it took us 15 minutes to say the word rate cuts. I'm kind of afraid that we cut rates. Am I crazy?
Like it was overdue in my opinion. Like I even mentioned it in my data release for charts. Like I mean, like there are no tenants anywhere. Situation is really bad. Like listings are through the roof. If you look at my charts, like sales are very low. So you don't really think inflation is going to skyrocket just because of like 0.25%, right?
No, I don't think it's going to start to skyrocket. First of all, I don't think we really have control of it. I think, you know, all the numbers are a bunch of baloney, but I think that if they cut again soon and they keep cutting in a year and a half from now, we're going to be back in the same situation we just got ourselves out of because these people in this market are mental. Right? They're crazy. Yeah. While the world's collapsing around us, we have lineups in Milton for pre-construction on single family homes, right? Like everybody's crazy around here. And we talked to Jordan Skrinko a couple of days ago, and he said that he doesn't think that people will learn their lesson. I'm hoping people are going to learn their lesson, but I don't know. TK shaking his head.
I want to ask Ivan, right? So we do a lot of talking here. So the first thing you said was there's no tenants. So what are the numbers showing? Meaning number of leases currently active lease market.
The cycle. We're at that stage of the cycle when you invite me to the show. So it means economy is really in a bad shape, right?
So not true, man. Let's hear it. What's the numbers? What's the trend?
The trend, data really shows that we keep inviting people. We issue a record number of student permits again, but I don't see it. Like I'm trying to rent out currently my condo in downtown and a room in the house on High Park, and really there are no tenants, and applicants that come, they are really low quality. So it's something that is not reported anywhere. Like we have like reports in rentals.ca. It's like 7% drop, I think, year over year, but it's not true. Like I see like 15-20% drop of prices, and then nobody comes.
Yeah, law of averages. So not just that there's no tenants, that there's a volume of people, but they obviously have options elsewhere. Maybe because there's a downward pressure on rental prices.
But also the quality. So we're getting people that want to rent from us. We don't want to rent to them is part of the problem too, right? So the demand's there though. Like if you could have pulled the trigger on one of these bad tenants and be full, right? Be occupied. Now so that's another problem in and of itself, is that we've just brought in or created one way or another a bunch of horrific tenants, right? And an environment for like deadly for
not to be in a landlord
right now, right? Yeah.
You said listings are going up too. So when you say listings going up, is that what do you mean? Is it just condo listings? Is it detached listings? Is it the whole market?
Well, pretty much all of them are very elevated, right? But condo listings are just completely ridiculous. I think it's like records, like all-time high.
Months of inventory?
Yeah.
Do you know the months of inventory right now?
No.
Do you have that
months of inventory? Sorry, I don't remember exact number right now. I cannot take a look.
But it's climbing.
Yeah, it's climbing for sure.
It's climbing, yeah. And I think we're anecdotally seeing that, right? I mean, you're hearing from a lot of condo realtors who are specializing downtown, and they're all saying the same things. Like, I'm getting more and more listings that are coming up. They're sitting. We're getting calls from realtors, a lot of realtors who are selling their own condos, and they're coming to us saying like, I don't know what else to do.
Mhm.
Right? Because they want to come to, you know, a team that's got more resources and tools. And they're saying to us, like, now sometimes I'm like, look, your price too high. Other times it's just, you got like 6 other units that are just like yours in the building. And as a
Mhm.
buyer, there's only a few buyers. You're not going to buy unless, you know, you get the most value possible. Right?
Yeah, and downtown is especially bad right now, correct? So like
Yeah.
because like a record number of new constructions finishes. So all of them are ending right now, and students are kept. I don't know. I don't see many students right now looking for properties. So all these factors together make downtown
It's
especially
end of the year. Yeah. Yeah.
But the quarter point doesn't signal to a group of people that has been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right opportunity to start buying. Do we not have this pent up demand from people that are just waiting for this signal, that are like, okay, maybe I'll go buy something now, I'll take a variable, and maybe in the next 12 months, my rate will be in the 4s?
So yeah, real estate market is very sentimental, right? It's driven by sentiment, and it's not really like you just change rate and people immediately use that new window of opportunity, right? Like in 2022, 2 years ago, when Bank of Canada started hiking rates, like demand disappeared in like overnight, right? It wasn't because Bank of Canada immediately like reduced purchasing power of everyone. It was sentiment. Like sentiment just disappeared overnight. So sentiment definitely will return someday. It's not going to be today or tomorrow for sure. I even doubt it's going to be this year. Probably not. But yeah, when sentiment returns back, it will be exploding growth of demand, and it will have very little connection to actual like rate, like how much rate was reduced by Bank of Canada.
So you think
Right.
that even though right now with this quarter point, obviously it doesn't change anything mathematically. I mean, you go to the bank, they're not going to be giving you that much more money to qualify for. The people who are in their current homes right now are not going to be saving that much more money per month when they go to renew or anything like that, right?
Yeah, it will save just a little bit of money. You can go to pub once a week extra.
Maybe. Depends on the pub.
Not bad, not bad.
Right?
Yeah, it depends on the pub.
Some
But you don't think
places
it's
you're
going to change
saving a
sentiment
drink.
at all? You don't think that changes sentiment, the direction of rates? Because what they've shown is the rate hiking cycle is over.
Yes, it's a big transition. Yeah, we are on next stage of the cycle for sure. When rate cuts started, it's important for sure. But sentiment, it doesn't look like. Yeah, there will be some realtors who will be yelling today, like, okay, we like buy now or you will be
Gonna miss
overpriced
the boat.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
But I don't believe it will affect like most of the buyers and their sentiment. Like we completely failed spring bounce, right? The spring bounce didn't happen, even though people knew that rate cut is coming. So sentiment is not here right now. And yeah, it's pretty difficult to move it. I think it will take some time for people to trust again in like buying properties.
I think we had an early spring, though. I think we had an early spring. So it just didn't happen at the right time.
Some story. People are saying that the real pain starts after the first rate cut. And the data that I've seen actually supports that. So
explain that. The real pain starts after for people who are listening, going like, what kind of riddle is that?
Well, the sales disappear and the market dries up when the rates start cutting is basically what you see in the graphs and the charts. Now, you know, you'd think that it wouldn't have that effect, but it seems to regularly. At least, you know, history is supposed to repeat itself, so that should happen again, right? Just like you're saying, that once they start moving the rates in a different direction, like that's the new direction. There's not going to be a reverse, you know, in a couple of months where they go, oops, okay, that was a bad idea. Let's raise them back up a quarter point. That is never going to happen, right? Right.
So what we're saying right now is that even though rates are coming, I'm trying to explain this to
nothing burger is what we're saying.
As soon as the rates come down because of the economic situation, now it's the beginning of the real turmoil.
Now the Bank of Canada sees the real pain about to hit us.
So the pain has started now because of the fact that they're lowering rates. The reason they lowered the rates is because of the economic situation. Unemployment's rising, GDP per capita is lower than it was. Our GDP numbers came in lower than what were expected. And so now we're going to start to see. It's not because the rate was lowered, the market changes. It's the reason they lowered the rate is because we're at that point. And that's why we're going to start to now see the issues that we've all been sort of expecting for a while.
Exactly. We already have enough problematic trends on charts. If you let them continue going, it will be quick deterioration of situation, right? So rate cuts are here to prevent it. Yeah, first rate cut will not prevent it for sure. It will be first step, but situation will continue deteriorating until later. I don't know when it will stop, but yeah, for some time it will continue.
But based on your charts and everything else that you've been tracking, like when should they have cut the rates in order to have prevented or to have, you know, gotten us back on track sooner?
Yeah, I'm not economist, so sorry, I cannot give you that kind of.
But you said that but one of your comments though was that it was late.
It was overdue, yeah, because
it was overdue.
Now, like year over year, even average price goes down for sure, so it should have been done earlier.
It should have been done earlier.
A little bit earlier, yeah.
And they were late to raise rates too, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
When
But
they
that's
raised,
the thing
right?
is
we all know now in the future, hindsight's always 2020. We're like, what were you guys doing? Like March 2021, you guys should have raised rates.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So, but this is the thing is we see how things play out, right? They have models for all these different scenarios and nobody really knows what policy or what, you know, stimulus is going to do what, where, right? And so they see it play out now over the last couple of years. And now they must have seen something that goes, oh shit, now we better do something because it's so bad we're going to decouple from the rest of the world, right? With our moves with interest. Although apparently the European Central Bank followed suit right away, which means I guess there's a bunch of central bankers waiting for somebody to make that first move and go, okay, like now it's time, everybody, time to reverse the trends.
And there is a chance that they know something what they're not telling you, right? Maybe they have some extra information about the economy.
Like what? Tell us. Give us something. What are you thinking?
New variant.
Like, yeah, I really don't know.
But what are you intimating at? You have something in that head of yours
He's
at
just
the moment.
hypothesizing
What are you saying?
that there could be something.
Like a war, like a Taiwanese kind of attack or something like that? Or are we talking
Is it aliens?
about,
We've been waiting for
I
the
mean,
aliens.
maybe GDP is deteriorating quickly
GDP?
right
Well,
now.
that's
yeah,
boring.
Maybe layoffs, extra layoffs.
GDP. So hold on a sec. How is it possible that unemployment isn't going crazy when we have 1 million people that just came in and none of them have any goddamn jobs? How did that not affect unemployment? Do they not count for something? Like, how does this work? I don't
where
get
are those people? Like, why I cannot rent my condo? Like, where are all those people?
Where are they? Because they're in Brampton.
No, they're all.
No, did I say that out loud?
You can't say that.
Oh, Jesus.
You can't say that, Daryl. So don't say those things anymore.
I said it.
Every country has a place here as a new Canadian, not just one particular country. All right, Daryl?
It's true.
Let's get back on track. Now, Ivan, are you implying that these people that we have claimed have come to the country over the last year aren't actually here?
I really don't understand what is going on, but it's something that is underreported, right? It's like nobody is talking about it, but it's here, like, lack of demand for rentals.
Is it possible that you just have undesirable units at the moment?
No, at least I would see like some people contacting me or like coming to see that unit and saying it's crap.
It's weird. TK, have you heard this before?
I'm going to break the news to you. You could be grossly overpriced and no one wants to pay your price. It's possible.
I reduce prices.
He reduced.
I know, but I'm just saying that anything is possible. But I also agree with you that it's a softening rental market and that it's hard to keep, you're catching the falling knife. It's hard to be able to understand where the market is. You're looking, well, the guy 2 weeks ago just got that number. I'm already $50 lower. Well, why can't I get it? But I don't understand all the intricacies. But what you're saying to me, and I think the simple answer would be, is that people who are coming here don't want to pay these bloody prices.
Yeah,
Even at the
that's part of it.
20% discount from a year ago, it's insane what it costs to rent a place in Toronto. And so we just sold a property and the tenant's there. And so the tenant's supposed to leave June 30th, and he is, and everything's going fine. And he said to me, because the seller asked me to contact him just to, like, you know, double check. And he said, I can't find a place. And I said, well, like, what can I do to help you? You know, like, where are you looking, all that stuff. And I was just trying to be as accommodating to show him, like, you know, if he needs my help, I can help him. And he said basically all the right things. Like, he's looking in all the right places, but he's just looking for, because he was in a 2-bedroom paying $1,800 a month, probably splitting cousins. So it's like 900
Good
bucks,
luck.
right?
Yeah.
It's a small
Good
2-bedroom,
luck.
but whatever it is, it's 900 bucks. So he's like, 1-bedrooms are 1,400.
Where?
Well, like suburban, whatever. Bottom line is, his expectations on price are the issue. It's not he can't find a place. You know, he's a decent tenant, good guy, clean. You know, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just his expectations on price are, I want to keep paying $900 a month, and you're renting a room from somebody in Richmond Hill at that number, not getting your own apartment.
But what has changed? Like, why, like in December, they wanted to rent it for that price, and now they no longer want it?
That's a great question.
Good question.
That's a great question.
Last time it happened, it was COVID, right? It was COVID, and same situation happened, like demand weird, but border was completely locked. Like nobody was coming anywhere, right?
So
These
that
days,
made sense. Yeah.
yeah, these days people are like, on paper they are coming, but yeah, in reality I don't see them.
I feel like when I drive around, I see
they
them
got
everywhere.
the paperwork, and then they looked over and they were just like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to stay over here and work for less.
I definitely see them all over
I think
the place.
answer is that there's less money in the economy. That's the answer. A year ago, people would justify paying 60% of their income towards rent. And now, after a year of doing that, they're going, I can't maintain this. And they're not willing to continue.
Right.
Right. And there's options, right? So there's other options. So there are going to be, in a softening market, more people are going to be renting out their spaces. Believe it or not, people keep homes and they don't rent them out. There's a real thing that people just keep houses vacant. I got one coming on the market, like it's been vacant for 4 years. The guy's like, I don't want any tenants. I've been dealing with tenants my whole life. He renovated it after his daughter left and just never, ever, ever rented it out. Then you've got people like yourself renting out a room in a house. Then you got people who are going to be, you know, closing on new construction. So they're going to be renting that out. They can't, you know, sell it because of the price they paid. So I think also the inventory of listings has gone up. And so that also takes away from the active showings that you're going to get on any lease listing right now too. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
What else are you seeing, Ivan, in the charts you're doing and the tracking? Like, what are you tracking right now that you can share with us that you feel is something that people don't know about yet because it's not being widely talked about?
So it looks like work from home is another thing that is like, it was on like some people discussed it, right? Like people predicted work from home to end soon. Like even I was wrong. Like I was saying that like people who bought properties in COVID in Guelph, London, Windsor, they are completely fucked when like work from home ends. They are completely screwed, right? And it turns out I was wrong. Like there was an attempt to invite everyone back to office, to downtown.
Force, yeah, force.
Yeah. I'm an IT, like I'm not just a realtor. Like I'm 22 years in IT, software development, and like end of last year, like last quarter of last year, it was exactly a situation like this. It looked like work from home is ending. Like I lost a couple of really high-paying contracts, and all the new positions required like coming to office almost every day, or at least a couple of days a week. But now we are again like flooded by new roles, like new contracts, and like they are not even trying to ask us to come to office anymore. So situation has changed, and it looks like people who work remotely from home, they won for now.
They won for now.
That's interesting. So the job market, the expectations of the employers.
Well, so many people already kind of worked from home and were making it work even before it, right? Like lawyers, especially. Lawyers didn't go into the office that much. They'd work from home all the time. They'd bill their hours. They'd have people at the office, assistants, you know. I've been working from home for a decade now, and it's worked out fine for me. And there's plenty of people like me. But I mean, there are definitely days where I wish I didn't work from home, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, that's just the way I've set up my company. But some of these businesses, I mean, I don't know how people would not want to go back into the office and see people and, you know, talk to humans. Because at home, there's so many like stupid distractions and there's like, you know, things that need to be done. And I don't know. It's just, it's like, I don't know why you would choose to work from home if you had a choice to go into the office.
I mean,
But
they're
I
not
think the
preventing
real reason is actually people were working more than one job from home,
you. Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it's another thing. But they're not preventing you from going to office. If you want, you can go there every day. They still
Yeah.
have office, right?
Yeah. And
They
people
have an
choose to
office
stay
still.
home.
They
It's
have
the
an office. The company
driving.
has an office.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the driving. Like, I don't know. I don't get out much, but every time I go anywhere, it takes at least an hour. Doesn't matter where I'm heading. It's at least an hour on the way back. And then like so much less gets done. And just actually sitting in person, you end up shooting the shit for an extra half hour, 45 minutes than you would have if you were on a Zoom call.
Mhm.
So it's so unproductive actually that I mean,
It
that's
is.
what happens. I miss it, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
working at home, the dog's going crazy. Everybody wants me to do something. And I wish that I went to the office. And then like the next day I have a meeting at somebody's office downtown. And I'm like, this is exactly why I work from home. This is horrendous. Why do I ever make a meeting?
Mhm.
So
Right.
one of the things that I experienced
Not
that
what
might.
it-
Sorry,
What's
Adam, go
that?
ahead.
TTC also not what it used to be like
TTC.
before.
Yeah.
Before you could use TTC or drive. Now you only can drive for obvious reasons. TTC.
TTC could be going
Yeah,
on
because you're
strike.
gonna get stabbed if
Yep.
you go on a TTC or
That too.
mugged or God knows who's living on the
It's just
car
gonna
that you
take a
walk
long
in on.
time to get wherever you got to go. So I was at a client's anniversary party, and so they invited all their neighbors. I stopped in, said hello and all that kind of stuff on Saturday, and they're all like 60 to 70, probably 60 to 80, probably. They're all retirement age, and so they're all hyping up their kids, right? Like my kids, right? All this kind of stuff. And every single one of the people in this one conversation, about 3 or 4 different groups of parents that were kids were in their 20s and 30s. Their kids were all highly educated. Doctor, web designer, marketing, works for Microsoft, like all great jobs. Every single one of them went to the US. The entire circle I was in,
Sure.
they're brilliant children, successful, able to graduate and go to great universities and get great jobs with great companies, all went to the US. I was watching the brain drain right in front of me,
Yeah.
right?
Happened to you? Why you are staying here?
I'm useless. I'm stupid. And
Right.
I couldn't pass a test that was for grade 5 students. So that's why. But think about it. So maybe in IT, right? Maybe in IT, it's a similar phenomenon. Is some of the best IT people are getting great jobs in the States.
Yeah, but IT people here like they're feeling pretty well, and often they also work for United States companies on contracts.
So you don't need to go to the States for those
You
type of
don't
jobs.
really, like yeah,
Good
you
point.
work in not a big deal.
So maybe not why IT is working from home, allowing working from home, but maybe other jobs are saying, hey, if we don't let them work from home, they're going to
go
end
to
up
States, yeah.
right. Or we don't have a better option here because the best people have all gone into the bigger companies down in the States. Now, another guy that I know went to work for Tesla in the States, but he got laid off and heard he's coming back. So, it's not all greener on the other side of the fence, guys. The grass sometimes it's just, caught a good glimpse of the sun and it looks nice for a little while, but then, later in the year, it dies down. I wouldn't move to the States.
What happened with the dollar? Did anybody watch the dollar today? Ivan, did you watch the dollar today? The dollar take a nosedive? Should we check that?
Today I didn't see. Yesterday it barely moved, right? Like everyone predicted it to go down, but it was already priced in.
It's already priced in. So what's the dollar been doing over the last couple months?
You tell me.
Nobody
What else
cares
are you
about the
tracking, Ivan? I
dollar.
want to know what you're tracking. What are you tracking? What was the latest chart you did? What was the last chart you did?
Last chart it was like end of the month charts for
Okay.
Toronto.
What
Yeah.
what happened in Toronto in May 2024?
Listings are just crazy. Like they literally like moved all my scale. Like I had to zoom out to adjust listings roof.
You know what I
Compared to
noticed
the
in his
last
charts?
month's charts? Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
and
I know
go ahead.
Sorry. I noticed in your charts though, and this is strange because everybody's talking about how much housing inventory, detached housing inventory there is, like very little. They're saying it's scarce, right? And that there's low months of inventory, which your data shows there is. But historically, it seems at least detached in Toronto, there is a normal level of inventory. It's not scarce like everybody's saying. At least the numbers.
Yeah,
It's
it's
right.
also growing month over month. It's growing. Maybe they're talking about like super cheap and affordable options only, like something like that.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I don't
What
it's
know.
about
growing.
luxury? What's luxury
Not
doing?
growing as much as condos, but it's still growing.
Still growing. So why is everybody saying that it's scarce right now? And if you have a house now, I guess it's these bloody marketers, these
Realtors.
bloody realtors.
These realtors pumping the market, telling everybody
Pumping
it's a
the
good time to buy and
market.
sell, talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Well, so we keep saying affordable housing, right? And everybody's looking to get affordable housing and nobody can afford anything. And the government's talking affordable housing every day, right? And all these incentives are supposed to get more affordable housing on the market. But I think what people are missing, or maybe they're not missing, maybe this is the exact problem. I mean, everybody that owns a house doesn't want their house to be affordable, right? So we have this, what do you say is the home ownership group in Canada, TK? 65%, 70%? What was it? You said it last week. Anyways, there's many more homeowners than there are people that don't own homes, right? As a percentage, isn't that correct, TK?
That's not what I said last week. I was saying
What'd
that
you
the
say?
people who own homes right now, the vast majority of the home ownership is in the baby boomers' hands. So they own the biggest chunk of housing. So as they retire and don't need those homes anymore, pass away, all that kind of stuff, that's when we're going to see a lot of that stock come back to the market, right? And they don't have mortgages, the majority
Well,
of them.
okay. So I don't know what the hell you said, but the majority of people in the country own their
Weren't you listening?
homes.
Weren't you listening to me?
I thought I was.
42% of people 42% of people have no mortgage on their home.
No mortgage. Okay, but
Yeah.
we're not talking about the same thing. Anyways, more people own a home one way or another, whether it's mortgaged or not, than don't. And especially in politics, I think most of them, if not all of them, own a home or multiple homes, right? So where is the incentive to not prop the market up and to bring it back to this affordable idea for anyone? And then just on top of it, just in case everybody didn't realize, developers don't want to build affordable housing because there's no fucking money in affordable housing, right? So there's no recipe for more affordable housing here. And we're all just talking about it. When are we going to realize that this is just a whole bunch of horseshit?
Well, you don't know that. Like developers, when they say like there is no money, like it's not profitable to build affordable housing building, like they obviously negotiated with city or province or whatever, and like they get some additional incentives, right? And
Sure.
you don't really know what kind of incentives it is. Maybe it's like free land.
Incentives.
It's density incentives, but trust me, they don't want to do it at all. You got to build more building, you got to deal with more people, and they're paying less for everything. It's almost like they're being forced to do it, right? If you want to do this building, you're going to have this included and that. This is how it works. And it's so stupid because the real answer to getting anything close to affordable again is not a market correction of 50, 80%, like everybody is hoping for back to 2006 levels. It's getting enough options for people, just like we're seeing now, right? Like, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of condos on the market right now. Prices are coming down, rents are coming down. So maybe if the market always had a ton of options for everybody, like things would start to plateau and be affordable. And it's really easy. They do everything to not make it easy because at the end of the day, it still has to be profitable.
Darryl,
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you. They have been working very hard on all the new incentives, all the different, build 23 and, build more, faster, stronger, whatever the bill names that they've got now. There's a couple more new bills now too that the province has got, but all these new bills are designed to be tools in order to create more housing. So I think that they've done a really good job lately. The city of Toronto has done a fantastic job on the missing middle and all the expanding housing options in neighborhoods. It's going to take time for it to be working through. CMHC was doing a great job by providing more funding
fucked it
until
up.
this week. They screwed it up.
Totally.
They announced the new point system for purpose-built rentals to no longer allow energy to contribute 100 points towards the score that a borrower would get in order to qualify for the highest amortization, the best rate, and the highest loan to value. So now they've basically said only up to 50 points, which means you need to make up in other categories. And accessibility can be expensive and maybe not possible. And so affordable housing is a way to be able to get more points in order for you to qualify for those best terms on the loan that you're getting from CMHC through the MLI Select program, which means now the builder isn't going to make as much money, or potentially you can't even do the site because you're going to have to make some of the units quote unquote affordable. So they really dropped the ball this week.
Not some.
And
How
you're
much?
talking mostly
40%.
Okay,
it's not
some.
a
So
big rental,
that's a
right?
huge number. Yeah.
It's mostly PBRs, right? It's not like condos.
All the purpose-built rentals, exactly.
All purpose built.
So you really cannot buy them. You only can rent them for affordable price.
You rent
You
them
can't buy
for
them, you
affordable
rent them.
price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the affordable rental figures. So it just killed the performance of so many deals because that's what people were expecting to do, is just say, hey, I'm going to make this the most energy efficient building they ever seen. And then I'm going to charge market rents, $4 a foot. And then I'm going to have, my investors happy with the returns they're going to get so that I have the money in order to build these buildings. And I think that that's going to be a huge factor, Darryl. We haven't talked about it yet, you and I.
No, it was like there was going to be a renaissance. There's
Yeah.
going to be a purpose-built rental renaissance here on the major streets, and they just fucked that up pretty good.
Don't
But
forget
so-
what is happening with condos, like pre-construction condos. Like nobody's buying them, right?
Nobody's buying them.
Nope.
It's
So
like a
we'll
ghost
transition
town.
into something bad.
We had the dawn of pre-con on last week, and let's just say he's up to other things lately. He's not doing doing a lot of pre-con stuff right now as far as sales go, because it's not just his business, it's the whole entire industry right now. That just people aren't interested in going into that. The pitch is not there. The pitch of pre-con has always been buy now, hold your money, make no payments, and by the time it's built, you're going to be rich. And that just it hasn't existed for a long time, but people didn't know. And now everyone knows. And so it's like, why would I put my money into this project? Like, how does it make sense? And if even as an end user, why don't I just wait until the building's built and I'll buy it for less than the developer's selling for, or maybe close to the same price from some schmuck who bought it 5 years before, right? There's no incentive to buy pre-con, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was very dumb to buy like $2,000 per square feet, and I actually liked last couple of years, because like last couple of years you could get like pretty good discounts. Like I bought this town home in last couple of years. I bought like downtown condo last I think it was November. So yeah, like I actually enjoyed like having numbers in a good shape, right? And like now the paradigm was that like if numbers work with 7% interest rate, then once rate goes to like 4%, you will be in great shape. So it's different situation from I'm buying it because I'm expecting it to double in price in like 5 years. It was crazy expectation. Now expectation is like once rates go down, you will be in chocolates, in sweet spot.
Sweet spot. Nice.
In the chocolates.
But that's like a basic investment philosophy. And this is what we've been saying on the show for like ever. It's like, why did anyone ever stop using that philosophy? Why did anybody ever?
But that's what I keep saying is the system, the financing system for condos forced this whole mess to happen. And what's crazy is it was created as a safety measure against people building entire buildings, having no sales, and then having empty buildings, right? So they put all these safety measures in place finance-wise that forced the developers to sell 65, 70% of the units before they could start building the building. And back in the day, the guys would have dinner, they'd buy a bunch of units off of each other, and they'd get the thing off the ground. And then like the projects were smaller and cheaper then. It was a different world, right? Now, they had to figure figure out how to go out to the market and incentivize people to buy something that wasn't going to be ready for 5 to 8 years, right? At some crazy price that made sense on the pro forma in order to get these things to move. And they shifted away from rental buildings, right? Towards this, and just basically created partial rental buildings all over the place with people that really never intended on owning them at all. Somehow they got to figure out a way. And this is what I was asking Jordan last week is, like, are we going to learn our lesson? Are we going to start building towards the people that are going to be living in these things, right? Are we going to figure out a way to finance deals where you can build a condo building somehow for the end user and they don't have to wait 5-6 years to move in? Because people can't plan their lives around this. Like, it might be ready in 5 years. It could be ready in 8 years kind of idea, right? They want to move in 7 months or 3 months, or they're getting married next year. They want to move in 12 months. We need to figure out a way to get the people that are actually going to live in the places to be able to buy the places, right? And it's a timing thing. It's not even totally an affordability thing, right? I think. But is that even possible?
I don't think so.
Not with the current system.
But that's the
problem.
thing. Can we not tweak this current system? It's crazy that they had it so close with the purpose-built rentals until yesterday. And when they changed this point system and just completely obliterated so many performers. And I know from being in the industry, guys were like, over the last couple of weeks, all these deals came off shelves as like, oh, wow, maybe if we look at it like at a purpose-built rental, this is going to work now with the MLI Select. Look, TK, even you know everything about MLI Select, for God's sakes. The whole city is talking about MLI Select. And what the hell's going on with it? Because I'm telling you, I felt it in my bones. There was going to be like this nice, easy path to creating purpose-built rentals that made money again. And all of a sudden, gone.
Yep.
Gone. And this is what these people do. So the problem
CMHC
is
means well. I think their agenda is to create more affordable housing.
what
So they
is
figure
their agenda?
So they figure, oh, how do we get more properties, units in each one of these buildings to be affordable? So we'll change the point structure so that when they're looking at how developers are getting around the affordable part is obviously creating more on the energy side. But they just can't acknowledge. Now, CMHC has got to be, especially because we're in real estate, so we're very focused on this, has got to be by far the most erroneous department in the government. I mean, one, we're in a housing crisis. They're supposed to be monitoring that. So it's the results are to speak for themselves. But even their predictions on the market and how they've been handling some of the money, the amount of money, the amount of billions of dollars that they have to lend out that just sits there in their accounts waiting to be lent out, never actually going anywhere, is probably more than any other, federal agency out there, right? Like, it really, the CMHC, I think, needs major changes to come to it in order to be able to create, or they've got to be held responsible. The next government, when they do come in, eventually, most people would assume next year, has to really overhaul the CMHC in order to be able to provide more housing, because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what we want. It's not just on the Canadian Real Estate Show. Everybody wants more housing. Everybody needs a house. How many homeless people do you know, Ivan? None. So all the people you know in your circles have a home. They live somewhere. Me too. So it's a pretty important thing. Right?
It's kind of important.
It's a pretty important thing. When 100% of the people in our circles, I've asked you before, Darryl, all three of us are all people who need homes. Sounds like that's something that we should really focus on.
But that's the fucked up thing, is they are focused on it. They are so focused on it that literally all hands are on deck, and they're all stupid, and they mean well on some level, but like, you don't just go, well, Mayor Chow said we got to figure out a way to get more affordable housing into this thing. So let's just completely upend the whole plan that was working finally, right? Like, it's like, you get like the best baseball player out of a slump finally, right? Like, the guy's been hitting like shit for years and you finally figure it out. And then what do? You tell him he's got to go fucking hit from the other side of the plate or something crazy, like hit from your knees, dummy.
Yeah, his interpreter steals his money and runs up a $17 million gambling debt.
It's like, here, guys, here's the magic formula. We did it. Yay, here we go. Bam! here
Yeah.
you go. Fuck you guys.
Trudeau promised to build a ton of housing, but you will never know how he's going to do that unless you vote for him next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what though? Doug Ford was doing an amazing job. He was really coming in and he was introducing all sorts of stuff. And he was saying mayors and other
Yeah,
little
let's go.
people, you don't know what you're talking about. He's telling the federal government, you guys are useless. It's a provincial issue. We're going to handle it. I think he was doing an amazing job until the Greenbelt issues, until that whole entire thing blew up. He lost his confidence. He doesn't want to just go out there anymore. Remember how many times he was
Doesn't want to lose his job.
talking about fighting for housing and all that stuff. And now he's been quiet because he knows, like, oh man, I really screwed up there by doing that because there was too much shady stuff going on. But he was actually going to get some houses built.
Wait a second. Federals asked provinces to allow like fourplexes or something like that, and Doug Ford said, "No, we are not going to do that in Ontario."
Because
So,
that's such a unique thing that isn't as effective. We've already proved the numbers don't work in Toronto. In freaking Windsor and all these other places to build a fourplex, no one's going to do that. And Doug Ford knew that. And that the answer wasn't the federal government telling him how to run the province's housing. He doesn't need their help. Financing, that's what the federal government should be doing. So he should be, thankful that they've been trying to be able to increase some of the options that some of the housing affordability plan of actions or whatever they call it now have been helping people with. But as far as actually like zoning and building and permits and all the other things that are involved, the federal government should have no business in. So I agree with him why he did that. And I'm pumping up Dougie Ford right now. But, he really was the guy who was sent to us. And it was that stupid SOB who went to Vegas and got the massages and just couldn't keep his pants on long enough for us to get some housing built. That's what
It was
screwed
the
it up.
right play,
That
man.
was
The
the last-
Greenbelt was the play.
That was the lot. All the other ones, he was just like, don't worry about it. I got this. But as soon as you involved massages in Vegas, it was over. They couldn't hide that anymore. And he had no choice but to reverse the decision. And every other decision he's had since then has just been lackluster.
I don't know.
What can I do?
So, Ivan, what are you focusing your investment dollars towards right now? Where do you think is the opportunity as an investor at the moment?
well, I'm positioning myself to buy more. Like I'm still focusing on condos in downtown just because I love to get discounts, right? That's really the reason why I became a realtor, because I want to negotiate.
Save the commission.
Yeah, no, negotiating is even more important than saving. So
I love that.
yeah, if you get huge discount, then downtown properties is what I want. It's one thing. Another thing, I'm investing currently on stock market in weight loss drugs, like Ozempic, Manjaro. Like there are some other drugs. I'm not going to give you names, but yeah, I think it has great future. So that's
Ozempic. Let's pump up Ozempic.
So I shouldn't buy Nvidia right now. It's not a good time to get in.
Yeah, I can.
Did you miss the train on Nvidia? Probably not. That thing's still got some legs. People are going to get killed and then it's going to go. Okay. Guys,
Ivan, where can people find you? So we want people to know more information about you as a realtor and on your social media. Where can people find you? Do a little shameless plug here so our listeners can track you down.
Yeah, just send me DM on Twitter, and it should be good.
How do they find you on Twitter?
Just I Gorbadei. It's I can post it.
I'll put it in the description.
We'll put it in the description. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you for your service with those wonderful charts every 2 weeks. I think it's every 2 weeks, something like that, right? Mid-month and at the end of the month. These are guiding lights, TK. They put everything into pictures for those of us that need to see it.
Can't read words.
In comparison to the last, 5 years, it's wonderful to see. It'd be so great if you could make it like super long so we could see the year run into the next year. That's what I keep thinking about doing with your chart, but I'm too busy and don't.
I have that version. Yeah, people didn't like it. Like I tried it a long time ago, but
did you try it?
I have it. If you want, I can send it to you.
Send it to me. I love that. That would be great. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Ivan.
Thanks for all the insight, TK.
Woo!